The battle for the release of an Iranian citizen sentenced to life imprisonment in Sweden continued on Friday at an appeals court on the outskirts of Stockholm. 62-year-old Hamid Nouri was detained upon arrival at Stockholm airport in November 2019 on charges alleging he was involved in so-called prison massacres during the late 80s. All accusations stem from a notorious anti-Iran group, the MKO, who have conducted numerous terror attacks against Iran over the years. Hamid Nouri has rejected all the allegations made against him. Before the day's session even began, supporters of this anti-Iran group harassed the family of the defendant, including Hamid Nouri's daughter and grandchildren.
A guy walked up to me and started cursing us out. I turned around and told him to be ashamed of himself for doing that before the kids. These are kids. They don't deserve to be treated like that. But he started shouting again. I said, I'm a woman. You have no right to yell or talk to a woman like that. I hear they are doing all that shouting, all those attacks just to be granted citizenship. I hope it's not true. Otherwise, they'd be selling their honor. All they're being just to get citizenship, which is not worth that much.
The family's stress only grew as the two young grandchildren of Nouri were barred entry to the courtroom itself. The family rarely gets the chance to see Nouri, who has been held in solitary confinement for over 3 years, a record-breaking length of time for Sweden. Later in the day, some hope emerged. Speaking to Nouri's lawyer, he felt that new evidence, including additional character witness testimonies, had strengthened the case for Nouri's release.
We are going to the end of the session, and for the whole trial, actually, it will be ended in the last week in October. So today we discussed some witnesses from the Tingsrätten and the district court, and we had also a witness from a policeman who has had a lot of appointments with our client without making any documents. And as you could see, we took it very easy because we have a lot of evidence to show the court about what he had said before and what he was saying now. So I think actually he is more optimistic now than he was when the court started, and actually we are as well, because we can still not see how the prosecutor can prove that he has killed anybody.
In July 2022, a Swedish court sentenced Nouri to life. Tehran strongly condemned the Swedish court ruling as illegitimate, while Hamid Nouri's family have complained of human rights abuses during Nouri's time in detention. Today's proceedings ended much earlier than we initially expected. However, the fight for the fate of Hamid Nouri remains ongoing, and it's going to be a long and difficult road to trek down. However, speaking to the legal representatives and also some family members of Hamid Nouri today, they expressed some keen new optimism following today's evidence that's been submitted that the tables may ultimately turn in their favor in the not-too-distant future. Robert Carter, Press TV, Stockholm.
Our top story: lawyer of Hamid Nouri, an Iranian national jailed in Sweden for alleged rights abuses, told Press TV about a situation. Thomas Bodström said that the court lacks competence to hear accusations leveled against his client.
First of all, this is a very strange case. I cannot understand why we should have a trial in Sweden about what happened in another country 35 years ago from a person who is not a Swedish person, what he maybe have done to other people who are not Swedes at all. So that's nothing to do with Sweden and the authority, the police.
Bodström said that Nouri's trial has not been fair and has had many mistakes. He said that some of the witnesses introduced against the defendant have had a conflict of interest in the case. The lawyer said that Nouri should be acquitted despite the evidence brought up against him. Bodström said that his client lost valuable documents required for his defense due to what the court claims to be erasing by mistake. The lawyer slammed Swedish authorities for not allowing Nouri to visit his family. He said Nouri is entitled by law to have in-person visits. Bostrom said that his client has now spent more than 3.5 years in solitary confinement, adding that that period has been a record in Sweden.
And what I am most upset about is that he is almost isolated 24 hours a day. And now he has been there for more than 3.5 years. This will be his 4th summer in custody if we don't let him go out, which I hope they will. But so this is the worst part, because he is isolated for 7 square meters. And okay, we can come and visit him, but we cannot go more than once a week or once a week, because we are just lawyers and we're working with the case. And he has asked for new glasses so he can read better. For since we came into the case, it's almost 8-9 months. Nothing has happened. So he is treated very bad, and we complain about it all the time, but nothing happened.
Nouri was arrested upon arrival in Stockholm in November of 2019. Swedish prosecutors accuse him of involvement in executions of members of Mujahideen Khalq terrorist organization. Now, that group is responsible for at least 17,000 Iranian killings. Tehran has rejected the accusations against Nouri as politically motivated.
The first time, actually, when I said it, there was a screaming. I was passing here to go to my job. I hear just in Persian language, it's a bunch of people screaming and saying really, really shameful and bad words toward the old woman, which I never have seen it in all my life. It didn't never exist in my world.
It's a show trial. It's absurd. Even the origins of this case having come directly from the brain and office of the terrorist cult leader Maryam Rajab.
واقعیتش من اگه بخوام از نقض حقوق بشری بگم، انقدر موارد متعددی هستش که اصلا نمیدونم باید از کجاش بگم. حقوق بشر از لحاظ خانواده اصلا رعایت نشده. پدر من در بدترین شرایط دستگیر شده. وقتی که ایشون با دعوتی که از طرف یه خانواده‌ای انجام شده بود، با دعوت اومده بود به اینجا، به مهمان بودش، تصورش هم نمی‌کرد که با این شرایط بخوان دستگیرش بکنن. ایشون وقتی داشتن از هواپیما خارج می‌شدن، به بدترین شکل ممکن توسط چندین پلیس قوی هیکل به بدترین شکل جلوی یک سری آدم ایرانی و خارجی دستگیر شدن، آبروی ایشونو بردن، ایشونو تحقیر کردن. وقتی که ایشونو دستگیر کردن، خب این یه فشار خیلی روحی و روانی بودش. بعد پدرم خیلی براش سخت گذشت این مدت، 30 ماه انفرادی توی یک سلول تقریبا 6 متری بودن برای کسی که 61 سالش هستش و تحمل این شرایط برای همچین آدمی واقعا سخته. به این موارد اضافه بکنید که پشت در دادگاه منافقین وای میستادن و شعار میدادن. پدر من به خاطر سنشون از عینک استفاده میکنن. بارها و بارها درخواست چشم پزشکی کردن ولی این کمترین حقی که یک زندانی داره رو از ایشون دریغ کردن. مورد دیگه ای که هستش، پدرم شب قبل از اینکه کیفرخواست رو بهشون بدن مورد ضرب و شتم قرار گرفتن و ایشونو کتک زدن و برگه هایی که یادداشت ایشون بوده رو ازشون گرفتن و بارها و بارها توسط پلیس سوئد تحقیر شدن. حالا تحقیراشون جویایی بوده که حالا زیاد جالب نیست آدم بخواد بگه، ولی در کشوری که ادعای حقوق بشر داره این همه نقض حقوق بشر خیلی جالبه.
حدود 2 سال که نتونستیم با ایشون ملاقات بکنیم به دلایل حالا خاص و شرایطی که نشد، یعنی موفق به دیدار ایشون نشدیم و بعد از 2 سال یه ملاقاتی که به ما دادن فقط به من، پسرم، دخترم و خیلی کوتاه، در مدت خیلی کوتاهی به ما یه ملاقات حضوری دادن.
چی شد جدی؟
دلم من واقعا
دیدی چی کردم؟ خانم دیدی؟
واقعا خیلی دوست داشتم.
رفتم دیدیش دیگه دمو دارم.
خواهی بزنم تو قلب من بیشتر دوست داشتم. خیلی واقعا دوست داشتم. خیلی واقعا دوست داشتم. خیلی دوست داشتم.
واقعیتش من اگه بخوام از نقض حقوق بشری بگم اینقدر موارد متعددی هستش که اصلا نمیدونم باید از کجاش بگم. حقوق بشر از لحاظ خانواده اصلا رعایت نشده. پدر من در بدترین شرایط دستگیر شده. وقتی که ایشون با دعوتی که از طرف یه خانواده ای انجام شده بود، با دعوت اومده بود به اینجا، به مهمان بودش، تصورش هم نمیکرد که با این شرایط بخوان دستگیرش بکنن.
Sentence is not in line with the standards of a fair trial, because the first principle of due process is the principle of innocence, which has, in my idea and based on the law theories, has been violated by the Swedish court, because they did not do any investigation, any comprehensive and independent investigation. They only relied on what has been said by the plaintiffs, and the prosecutor didn't do any investigation. She didn't move to Iran or even to Iraq, because the Mujahideen were located at those days in Iraq, and even she didn't request any thing from the UN Security Council, because the attacks as claimed by the prosecutor has been committed or occurred after the resolution 598, which was a resolution by the UN Security Council. If that attack was serious, was considered as an armed attack, actually we would have the reaction of the UN Security Council. But the prosecutor didn't ask anything from the UN Security Council. It shows that originally this case has been filed by political motivations, and we clearly see that the standards of a due process has been violated. We have good reasons, strong reasons to do appeal against this, I think, this weak judgment, which is clearly against the standards of law.
I think that what we should highlight here is that we are witnessing once again the double standards of European countries, Western countries, and human rights organizations towards Iran and Iranians. Unfortunately, we see this trial, which was illegal, baseless accusations, and Mr. Nouri was tortured in prison. So we are witnessing once again these absolutely double standards of Europe towards Iran and Iranian people. And unfortunately, the Mujahideen Khalq, as many people know, but in fact, European people, maybe they don't know very much about Mujahideen Khalq, because the mainstream media don't say anything about Mujahideen Khalq, because European politicians are helping Mujahideen Khalq. They are supporting Mujahideen Khalq. So many European people do not really know what is Mujahideen Khalq. But Mujahideen Khalq is an organization which has been in the blacklist of terrorist organizations until 2012. They have killed 20,000 Iranians. But many European people, they don't really know about Mujahideen Khalq. They don't know that Mujahideen Khalq now they have a base in Albania, and this base is not even registered in the country. Nobody knows about them, and unfortunately, but we are not surprised, because we know that Western countries, European countries, the US, they have supported terrorist organizations not only in the Middle East, but even now in Europe.
This is a political kangaroo court in all but name, and the reality is that as Iran's intelligence minister Ismail Qadhi said, it's linked also to Ahmed Raza Jalali's espionage for the Zionist regime, who actually has been proven to be guilty and has gone through all the judicial stages in Iran. And what this also actually highlights is the actual glove in hand support of secular neoliberal establishments in the West for terrorist organizations like the MEK, the Mujahideen Khalq, the so-called Mujahideen Khalq, who've been consistently outed as terrorists. Not only the Americans themselves, under Bill Clinton, designated them in 1997 as terrorists, but several other nations, the EU included, have designated the MKO as terrorists. And it is the MKO's evidence, it's the MKO's members that are actually alleging all of this action against Mr. Nouri. The truth of the matter is that this is a completely trumped up trial. It has bogus witnesses. It has no real depth of judicial, if you like, meaning. Yet it's been pushed through because it's part ultimately of an Anglo-Zionist imperial agenda against the Islamic Republic of Iran, which includes, of course, many other psychological operations. But this one, the way it was conducted is absolutely fascinating. That members of the MEK were tipped off, apparently, about Ms. Nouri's arrival in Sweden, and then miraculously, people very active within the intelligence services, the counter-terrorism services from within Iranian dissidents also got involved. It's all very implausible.
A guy walked up to me and started cursing us out. I turned around and told him to be ashamed of himself for doing that before the kids. These are kids. They don't deserve to be treated like that. But he started shouting again.
I'm going to speak to my brother here, who is a local living here in Sweden, an Iranian national living here in Sweden. Brother, just tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell the audience who you are and what you're doing here.
Hi, my name is Shayan. I'm a proud Iranian and I'm a medical doctor.
Fantastic. So you're living here in Sweden, an Iranian national, and just tell me, obviously you're not involved in what's going on here at the court, but as an eyewitness you've seen what the group to my right has been up to over the past couple of days, in specific harassment of the family of the accused, who have been coming here on a daily basis to witness the proceedings and take part in the court case. Just tell us a little bit about what you've seen.
First of all, I'm really happy that I could find you to open my heart actually regarding to what's happening here. These people are known in whole Iran history for past 42 years. And unfortunately those, I don't like to call them people, but those standing there, those people standing there are the most hated group in Iran. They are a terrorist organization. They have been terroring, killing, torturing, bombing, and doing many crimes against Iranian civilians. They are carrying the blood of civilian people, thousands of civilian Iranian people. As an Iranian that holding Iranian passport from Iranian nation, still my family and I, we have both life in Iran and Sweden. I would love to say those people, they don't have any places in Iran forever. Doesn't matter, whatever will change in this world, this kind of people or this bunch of people, they have any place in Iran forever. So we are used to this kind of show and this kind of attitude from them. They have always been showing themselves like this, with the opening their mouth. They don't care about these children there, old people there, women there. Opening their mouth, say whatever they can, which I'm actually ashamed to even think about it. But unfortunately, the main thing is hurting me as an Iranian.
They're calling themselves tongue of 85 million Iranian, or representative of Iranian, which is total a big lie and big show. They never have been, not even count as an opposition group. They have always been in a terrorist group as they was in a terrorist, international terrorist list. So
Perhaps you could tell us a little bit about why they're considered a terrorist organisation. What crimes have they committed in order to earn the title? I'm actually going to stand to this side because I want them behind you. Tell us about this group so everyone can see them behind you now. Why are they considered a terrorist group in Iran? What have they done?
From the beginning, they have been starting with the killing and torturing our military personnel, and the main one, it was our president, the second president in Iran after revolution. So that was their beginning. Then as they started to killing the civilian people in the streets, terroring them, torturing them, burning them, cutting off their skin, their limbs, and many things, which is proved all the crimes against Iranian nations. And the worst thing, which it made them the most top hated group in whole Iran story in the people's eyes, it's when they betrayed Iran during the Iran-Iraq war, when Saddam was invading Iran. So rather than they fighting against the enemy, they went to, this is what we call them, lick the shoes of Saddam and supporting Saddam by killing Iranian soldiers, Iranians, militaries, and doing all kind of support and favor for Saddam and his Baas group.
So all sorts of crimes against the Iranian people, killing innocent people as well over the years, yet they claim to be representative of the Iranian people and so on and so forth. One thing I think is interesting to point out is this group is, they're considered basically a cult group, aren't they, as well as a terrorist group. They're a bunch of weirdos, I think it's fair to say. That's how Iranians consider them, if I'm right. But they receive significant support from various countries around the world. They receive European, American support, and from the Saudi regime and also the Israeli regime as well. Perhaps you could tell us about that.
Yeah, sure. They are known, actually. We know exactly. I was actually seeing them every day when I was going to work. I was seeing a bus, really nice, bring them here, put them down, give them their sandwiches, and every time when they finish, the bus comes, the same bus, pick them up, bring them back to their places. So I talked actually to a few of them in the train when I was going back to my job. Even they get payment for it. That's the funniest part. They know it by themselves. They know they have any place in Iran or in Iranians' people's heart. But unfortunately, this show, it's where they got the order to doing it. And it's not made by them. It's made by the bigger powers or bigger disgusting regimes as America, as Zionist regime, as Saudi. They're getting money to putting down the Iranian nation and the Iranian government.
That's fine, and I wonder if you perhaps had a message. I'm sure some of these guys might end up watching this. They're very big on social media. They peddle a lot of propaganda. They're known for having a troll, a bot army in Albania, something like that. Yeah. It's a very weird group. I actually encourage everyone who's watching this to go and study the group. They've been condemned and branded as a very peculiar organisation which conducts all sorts of weird social media trolling campaigns and stuff like that. Do you have a message to this group, if any one of them is watching?
Yeah, I just want to say 42 years you lost your life by supporting Iranians people enemy, by supporting a dirty psycho leader as I really don't like to bring his dirty name in my mouth, but the one who called them as their leader, by supporting this guy living in a camps like animals in the cages with no husband, no wife, no children, no any media, even a small normal human being thing like a TV. So stop doing this show. There is no end for it. End of you will be like your leader, die in a place which no one knows even where is your grave, with the dirty background as holding the flag of Iranian enemy in your hand. That's a shameful disgusting point for the Iranian. The Iranian have been always proud for supporting and defending our country and all nations who need help, not defending our people, not defending our enemy, not defending our the one who. Sorry, cut it off. I just
yeah, sure. No, that's fine.
But by not defending the one who is against democracy, who is against the human right, like Saddam, like regime Saudi, like American terrorists, the one who carrying the blood of the most. Nah, forget this one too.
Yes, that's fine.
Yes.
I think I wanted to ask you one more time exactly what you saw when you saw the harassment taking place. I think if you could describe that in a bit more detail. You saw them harassing the family of Nouri, is that right?
Yeah, the first time actually when I said it, there was a screaming. I was passing here to go to my job. I hear just in Persian language, it's a bunch of people screaming and saying really, really shameful and bad words toward the old woman, which I never have seen it in all my life. It didn't never exist in my world. So I was just shocked by what I'm hearing. For what? Against a woman walking up to the stairs? All kind of those words. No point.
So there you have it. I wanted to discuss this group whilst I'm here because they're a little known group which receive a lot of support. They're basically considered so-called legitimate opposition by Western imperialist powers, and are used as a kind of stick to try and beat the Islamic Republic of Iran with, but they failed ultimately for over 40 years to do so. So it's a weird organisation, it's a cult group, and one thing I will mention is that there are several flags on display. Some of them are of the MKO terrorist organisation, the yellow flag, it's quite known, but also they have other flags that are like communist flags. There's also the former dictatorial regime of Iran flag here, which was representing the Shah's era, the former royalist regime, which was ousted after the 1979 revolution, and that was a dictatorial regime, a Western-backed dictatorship, which the Iranian people overthrew during the revolution. And that flag is also flying here, so you have these conflicting ideologies which make no sense, this weird cult group, this royalist dictatorship, they're all kind of mixed and mingling together, so it's just a hodgepodge of weirdos and fanatics that want nothing more than to basically destroy Iran. These guys would love to see a Western-backed regime change operation, US tanks riding into Tehran, destroying the country, killing innocent civilians. They would love to see that. They would love to see Iran become another Iraq, another Libya, another Afghanistan. That is what these guys are all about. And one thing that I will also say is I have reported on the Iranian election process from London. I'm here reporting as well. This group is known and notorious for attacking Iranian civilians. I've seen it with my own eyes. Innocent civilians that have nothing to do with the government, have nothing to do with politics. All they want to do is come out and vote. In this case, Iranian family members of the accused just want to come, give evidence, see their detained family member, Hamid Nouri, who's been detained in solitary confinement for 2 years in a controversial case which the Swedish authorities have been condemned for their treatment of Nouri. That's a political issue. But they have a right to come here to meet their loved one and to give evidence. And I've seen them physically attacked almost, abused, foul language. And in London, I've seen old women who come to vote in the elections being attacked with stones. There was a case I covered where a woman was being threatened with, they were going to kill her, they were going to stab her, they said. And this group is notorious for that. So supporters are thugs, and they do not represent the Iranian people, as you heard earlier from my guest. So let's all be aware of this group. If you ever see this group anywhere in Europe protesting, be very, very careful. They hate Islam, they hate Iran, they hate human rights, and they're basically puppets of Western imperialism, and they're mercenaries that receive money just to go out and attack ordinary innocent people, especially Iranians. So thank you very much. Be careful, and to any Iranians watching this that are living in the West, watch out for this group. Be careful, stay safe.